So here in New Zealand we're proud of many things, from our place names to our inventors, our sports personalities, and hell, even our pop stars. But no one's as famous as our homegrown celebrities. So in this video I'm going to give you my picks on New Zealand's best movie that best describes us to the world. Sit back, grab yourself a big box of popcorn, and let's get into it, Bad Taste. The only film that sounds like your uncle's Hawaiian shirt collection. But actually, it launched the career of one of the biggest directors in Hollywood. Before Peter Jackson was barefooting his way around Hobbiton, he was handing out cans of whoop-ass in the form of machine gun alien slaughtering madness. Released in 1987 on a budget that wouldn't even cover a week's rent in Auckland, Bad Taste is pure, unfiltered, splatter comedy chaos. It tells the menacing tale of a small New Zealand town invaded by aliens running a fast food franchise that serves humans. A young Pete Jackson did everything. He directed, he produced, he edited, acted, and probably made the marmite and cheese sandwiches on the set too. Every single shot oozes handmade love or possibly mucus. Jackson's mates played multiple characters, sometimes even fighting themselves in split screen scenes. There's even a legendary sequence where Jackson's character Derek gets pummeled by an alien, falls off a cliff, and then tapes back his own head together using his belt strap. That's Kiwi ingenuity. Jackson funded this project over 4 years using his own money, shooting only on weekends, using a 16mm camera he bought second-hand. And the budget? A measly $25,000 New Zealand. The alien costumes were made with latex using oven mitts in his mum's garage. The guns were painted bits of piping, and the blood, mostly raspberry jam and washing up liquid. It's gory, it's weird, and it's a little bit gross, but it's also bloody brilliant. And if you like practical effects, cartoonishly bad acting, and watching aliens puke into bowls as they serve it as soup, congratulations, because you've got bad taste. And the best part, if we didn't have this movie, Weta Workshops would never have been created. Alright, so imagine a movie where The Office meets Interview with a Vampire, but with more Kiwi accents. And that's What We Do in the Shadows, the mockumentary masterpiece directed by Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi. It's a film about 4 vampire flatmates, Viago, Vladislav, Deacon, and Peter, trying to live their best undead lives in suburban Wellington. They argue over dishes, go clubbing, only if they're invited in, and complain about the modern fashion that doesn't suit their centuries-old style. Viago is the dandy, Vladislav is the tortured bad boy, Deacon's the rebellious one, and Peter, well, Peter's basically Narosfu living rent-free in their basement. The film was largely improvised, and the script was only 150 pages of outline. Most of the dialogue was created on the spot by the actors, and it took over a year to edit the footage because they had over 125 hours of material. The special effects are low-key brilliant, people levitate, shapeshift, explode into bat form, and yet it all feels pretty grounded in this little weird flat share. The film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2014 and became a global cult hit. It even inspired a TV series, also pretty brilliant. This movie turned Kiwi humour into an international export. It's clever, wildly sweet, and has more charm than a Twilight novel. So the next film on the list asks the question, what if you combined a classic Guy Ritchie film with Wellington scenery, pool cues, and Robbie Magasiva from Shortland Street? Well, you'd get Stickmen, of course. This film follows 3 mates, Thomas, Jack, and Wayne, who get caught up in Wellington's secret underground pub pool tournament. With the help of their local barman, Lionel from Shortland Street, the movie pays homage to early Guy Ritchie films with its dodgy characters, gangland politics, and incredibly high stakes. Every bar in the film is a real Wellington location, including Kenny's Cafe. The dialogue in Stickmen is razor sharp, the pacing is fast, and the characters utterly lovable. There's the smooth one, the safety man, and the guy who really shouldn't be allowed near sharp objects. And together, they're trying to make it through a high-stakes tournament run by Daddy, a claw-handed gangster who offers a free shave and a haircut while threatening people. The film was so good it even won the Best Picture at the 2001 New Zealand Film and TV Awards. Stickmen is what happens when Kiwi charm meets Tarantino energy. Fast pace, full of heart, and cooler than a dozen spates in a Dunedin fridge. It's criminally underrated and way more fun than actual pub pool.
Right, so the next film on the list is one of my favourites.
Footrot Flats, The Dog's Tale is based on Murray Bull's legendary Kiwi comic strip, and it's the first animated feature film New Zealand's ever made, which in itself is a pretty amazing feat. The story centres around Will Footrot, a rough around the edges farmer, and his loyal, lovable sheepdog, simply known as Dog. They battle croco pigs, rival rugby teams, and those bloody Murphys. All of it narrated with some dry Kiwi wit and some top-tier dog monologues. The dog was voiced by Peter Rowley. If you ever wanted insight into a canine with anxiety and moxie, then this is your movie. The cast is so packed with Kiwi celebrities including John Clark, Fiona Anderson, Rawiri Paratini, and Billy T. James. The film even includes a soundtrack produced by David Dobbin and the Herbs, including the classic song Slice of Heaven. It's charming, nostalgic, and a love letter to rural New Zealand. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and then you'll wonder why more dogs don't narrate their own lives.
So never has a film been so iconic that it gave us all a craving for eggs.
Now, Once Warriors is the kind of movie that leaves its mark on your soul, and not in the "that was a fun time, I'll call you later" kind of a way. No, this one hits hard and it doesn't let go. It's a devastating drama that tells the story of a Māori family living in urban New Zealand, struggling with violence, poverty, and the haunting past that keeps them trapped. The film follows Jake Hickey, a carefree, lovable, but violent alcoholic father, and his wife Beth, who is both a victim of his abuse and the emotional core of the story. Their kids, especially their daughter Grace, are caught up in the crossfire of this explosive family dynamic, and things go from bad to worse as the movie unfolds. From gut-wrenching scenes of domestic violence to moments of quiet desperation. Once Warriors is a sobering reminder of the strength that it takes to survive and the toll that it takes on the human spirit. And finally, we're rounding off the list with two films that are absolutely and possibly New Zealander? Hell, they're just pretty cool, right? These are two separate films, but they share that signature Taika magic of balancing humour, heart, and a sprinkle of absurdity. So let's kick things off with Boy. Set in the 1980s, Boy follows the misadventures of an 11-year-old boy named Boy, who lives with his grandmother and his younger brother in rural New Zealand. But when his father, who's been away in prison, returns back to the small town, Boy's fantasy world shatters. Boy is a hilarious and heartwarming film. It's a story about growing up, realising that your idols are just regular people, and finding out that family is what truly matters. Then we've got Hunt for the Wilderpeople, which is one of those films that's just pure magic. It's the story of Ricky Baker, a troubled teenage boy played by Julian Dennison, who was sent to live with his foster family in the wilds of New Zealand. But then things go pretty bad when Ricky and his reluctant foster uncle, Heck, played by Sam Neill, go on the run through the forest. It's part buddy comedy, part survival adventure, and part heart-filled coming-of-age story. There's no other way to describe it. The dynamic between Ricky and Heck is absolutely hilarious. Heck is this gruff, grumpy man who definitely doesn't want a kid tagging along in his life, while Ricky is an awkward, wise beyond his years teenager trying to find his place in the world. The film's charm lies in the absurdity of the situations that they find themselves in. Hunt for the Wilderpeople is a perfect blend of heart and humour, showcasing Waititi's unique voice as a filmmaker.
So there you have it. That was my pick on New Zealand's best movie that best describes us to the world. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment down below on your pick for the best movie that best describes us. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, eh?